Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and it is Tuesday, June 26th. We are 1 week away from the release of Amazing Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man series starring Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. In honor of the upcoming release of the movie, I got this idea after I heard New York City was doing, well, this week is supposed to be New York City Spider-Man week, so I thought, why not do a week of Spider-Man themed videos for my channel? And I decided instead to start exactly 1 week away from the release of the movie. That way, the final video right before I see the movie will be what I think of the movie. So you're gonna get seven videos for 7 days for the next 7 days of Spider-Man, all Spider-Man themed. And I decided to I did have this idea, I did sort of form the video ideas yesterday. Well, actually, I did have a few Spider-Man themed videos. I just decided to release them in a week order, just because I thought it'd be a nice little gimmick. I did have an idea I did order something for the movie. Unfortunately, it's not going to be here this week because when I ordered it, they ran out of stock, and I'm waiting for them to get it back in stock. It was supposed to be a new shirt I was going to wear for the premiere of the movie. It was just it's just basically a shirt replica of Miles Morales' Spider-Man costume, like just the logo the logo and the webbing he has on it, on his. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I did think of another video idea that is going to replace that. So don't worry, we still have 7 videos. And so for the first video I'm going to talk about is, well, a graphic novel that I've already reviewed twice in May. Well, I wouldn't say reviewed, but I've talked about it twice in May. Spider-Man Season 1. Yeah, like I've said, I've talked about this twice. Basically, this is the retelling of Spider-Man's origin, and it's not like what they did in Ultimate Spider-Man, which was just like setting it up in the 21st century with a new idea. This is just basically a retelling of both Spider-Man's first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15, and also Spider-Man's first battle with the Vulture in Amazing Spider-Man number 2. So in this book, you pretty much get Spider-Man's origin, a retelling of Spider-Man's origin, plus his first fight with the Vulture. And there is a lot more depth added to it, like a lot more character growth with Peter than what originally happened in Amazing Fantasy 15. Because now that I think about it, compared to Amazing Fantasy was just pretty much like stating the origin, and same thing in Amazing Spider-Man number 2 was just like setting a few things up, that's all. But with this, I felt that there was some character depth in it, because we start off with Peter in the beginning. He's the wallflower in high school. He's made fun of a lot. He's the smart kid too. Then he gets the spider bite, and in this book, it isn't just like he just got bit by a spider. They actually made it look really something funky, because his hand, there's a huge growth on his hand, like in Spider-Man the movie, and also he vomited a couple times. So there was some sense of realism there, and I think I read in a written review on IGN that pretty much this is just like an origin with updated technology and clothing and settings, and yeah, it is that, but it does also let you see the story in a new light, where you see Peter sort of growing up and deciding, instead of using his powers for fame and fortune like he originally wanted to, he's deciding instead to use his powers responsibly, not for him, but for his uncle. Because there is a final scene in this book where, after he takes down the Vulture, he goes back, visits Uncle Ben, and promises that he's going to be the hero that Uncle Ben always wanted. Yeah, I did mention in my Marvel First Wave review that the first meeting with the Fantastic Four was cut, and so was the Chameleon and so was the first battle with the Chameleon, which happened in Amazing Spider-Man #1. That was cut, but another thing that was cut in this was the actual wrestling match where Peter Parker debuted as Spider-Man. That was cut. It just pretty much shows Peter getting the idea that he should go challenge. Peter seeing the ad on TV saying challenge wrestler Crusher Hogan for a chance to win $5,000, and so then it cuts to the next page and it says 2 weeks later, and it's Peter designing his costume in web shooters and also getting ready to call the guy who's going to be his new agent. That's pretty much it does feel like they changed Jameson's origin a bit in this to look more like, again, the Sam Raimi movies, because I remember in the movies, in the comics, Jameson did say he kind of wanted to make Spider-Man paints for a number of reasons why Jameson hates Spider-Man. One reason is that he wants to sell papers, which is the reason in this book is that Jameson originally wrote his hatred of Spider-Man just to give people another perspective. After all the papers were praising Spider-Man, he thought, I'll do something different that will really sell copies for the Daily Bugle. But I remember when Jameson first appeared, he was saying that Spider-Man is a menace, and he was trying to give some credit up to his son, John Jameson, because he felt John was a real hero. Well, he is his son after all, so father's pride, all that stuff. And also, later on in the comics, Jameson reveals that he is jealous of Spider-Man because Jameson has done a lot of good, but it's all been for money or glory, while Spider-Man has just done good things for the sake of being good. And he just can't stand that. I mean, there's a number of reasons, but they've mainly stuck with the reason that Jameson just wants to sell papers, which was also in the movie, and I think also in the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. So, it's not really a flaw, just so much as a clarification for me. I'd still say this is a great book, and again, I'm talking about this book because a lot of people are going to see. I know that there are Spider-Man fans out there that watch the TV shows, they watch the movies, but I don't think a lot of people do read the comics, though, unfortunately. And, I think this would be a great book that you could loan for comic book fans. Listen to me. If you know someone who doesn't read comics and they're going to go see the new Amazing Spider-Man movie, I would say loan them your copy of Season 1 if you have it, okay? Let them read this and, just to give them kind of a perspective about what happened for Spider-Man's origin. Also, this does come with a free digital download, so if you're the person who doesn't want a digital copy, then you can just give it to someone else who has an e-reader, and they can look it up and read it and give that to someone else, basically. But I am definitely going to let some of my friends who are planning on seeing the new Spider-Man movie read this, because I think that they'll enjoy this a lot more than the original. Not that I'm dissing the original issues in any way. I have a high respect for those. Those are what started the whole thing. So, I'm not dissing them in any way. I just think that this is just something that I think a lot more people today are going to get a little more. Again, not dissing the originals. I'm just saying that right now, I don't think people are going to want to read old comic books from. I think if you show someone an old comic book, like either a reprint or something, they might not fully enjoy it. But I think if you show them this, because the artwork in this is truly amazing, no pun intended, that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this book, especially non-comic readers who have seen Spider-Man's origin through other media, TV shows, video games, movies, whatever. I think they're going to enjoy this too, because it does update it. It gives it a modern setting, and it's not like Ultimate Spider-Man, which was redone it is completely different from the origin. Well, Peter still gets bit by a radioactive spider, Uncle Ben still dies, but this is pretty much like a clean, almost an exact origin, but just told in a different time, just told like 50 years later. That's it. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Again, this is a good book, great introduction, I think, to introduce non-comic book fans to comic books. I think, this is definitely something I would share. This is definitely going in my list of comics I want to share with my friends. Okay, well, that concludes day one of Spider-Man week on my channel. So stay tuned tomorrow for another Spider-Man video, and can't wait for the movie Spider-Man 1991. Saying see you later.